Hi, welcome back to another vinyl show and tell. Hope everyone's doing alright, thank you for tuning in. So today it's another finds video. I've been out digging the last month during the festive period, so it's kind of a two-parter we've got here. There were 2 days out that we did over December. One was to Arundel and later on in the month was Chichester. So both in West Sussex, not too far away from me, down here in Portsmouth. So what I've got for you, I've done a little bit of footage of both of them. I haven't got inside of the shops that I visited, but I've just got a little bit of footage of sort of the outside and the surrounding areas, just for you to get a feel. So first of all, part one, we'll talk about the shop in Arundel, and the place of Arundel. So Arundel is a beautiful town. I mean, it is absolutely stunning, especially this time of year at Christmas. It is absolutely beautiful. We went back on, I think it was the 8th or 9th of December. It was bitterly cold. I mean, it was sort of 0 degrees. I know if you're watching this in other parts of the world, you're probably thinking, what's he talking about? But here in the UK, every bit of vaguely extreme weather, we all talk about it. If it's either too hot, too cold, too rainy. But it was beautiful. It was a lovely, beautiful day, as you'll see from the footage. So what I'll do is let's go over to the footage first of all. The shop is called Array of Delight that I visited. So let's go over to the footage and then I'll show you what I found. Here we are today. It is bitterly cold, but it is beautiful and wintry here. It feels very, very festive indeed. But it is about 1 degree. It's in this arcade here. We've got it. It's very inviting and festive. Here it is. I don't think it gets more inviting than that, especially this time of year. Let's have a look. Here we go. About to come home. End of a good day and a great haul. Okay, there we go. So Array of Delight is a great shop, absolutely brilliant. I have been there once before, only I think for the first time earlier this year. It was before I started doing these videos. As per usual, like I always say, very, very fair prices. If it's not fair pricing, I don't go to these shops, but the pricing, as you will see from some of the things I got in here, was very, very good indeed. It's in an absolutely beautiful location. It's in the arcade, as you could see, like a shopping arcade, as you can see, and it was so festive in there. It was beautiful. The owner of the shop, who I believe, I didn't introduce myself, but I think he's called Graham, correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, it was very nice, had a little chat. So I'll just show you what I got. There are 5 records in total from that trip. So first of all, I got this one here. This is by Faust. It's called the Faust Tapes. It's actually an upgrade copy. It's quite a well-known album, really. It was sold back in the day in 1973 by Virgin Records. It might actually be the first ever Virgin release, to be fair. I'm not sure if it was this or whether it was that other one called Tubular Bells. But this was sold in 1973 for just 49 pence. Even by the standard, even with inflation, that only works out, I think, probably to between £3 and £4. So very, very cheap indeed, and it seemed to sell in the bucket loads. The music itself is extremely experimental. They are a typical kind of atmospheric krautrock band, but this particular release pulls together lots of disjointed kind of, I suppose it could be outtakes and things, very, very strange things sort of welded together into just 2 untitled tracks, 1 track per side. I don't really know how to explain this one, but that's the back cover. and on the front cover you've got various reviews off valves taken from publications of the time. It's a very strange record, but I do like it. It's really impossible to explain, but I do say check it out. Next up we've got, I was really pleased to find this one, we've got the debut album by The Passage. Now I've got the third and fourth album by The Passage. They're a great post-punk band. Very unique, really unique. They're quite industrial sounding, but at the same time they've got like a synth pop sound to them. Certainly the third and fourth albums do. I haven't played this yet. I can only describe it as like a cross between Killing Joke and Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark, if you can imagine that. I don't quite know what this debut record is like. It was released on a label called Object Music, who are owned by a band called the Spherical Objects. Now this is interesting actually. As I'm holding this up, and I didn't realise this, and you probably won't be able to see this, the vinyl is a slight translucent red. Oh, there we go. That was unexpected. Sometimes you get these ones. I know if you get early Joy Division pressings, they glow in the dark, and early Elton John as well, UK pressed albums glow in the dark. Anything that was pressed by Pi, so this might be a Pi pressing. But yeah, very pleased to get that, and just £5, which is absolutely brilliant. What a bargain. Next up, we've got a band called Fingerprints. I actually picked up a Fingerprints third album in London a few weeks before. If you check out my London video, you'll see me show that one. This record collecting is a bit like buses. They all come at once when you're waiting for them. So this is their debut album called The Very Dab, and it's on Virgin Records originally. And that again was just £5. So nice condition, very nice, very good. So those were the three that I decided to purchase. I was happy with that. Nice little haul. Went to the counter, and propped up against the counter, kind of on the floor, just resting against it, just not really in view, I spotted this. Excuse me. So this is Love, Death and the Lady by Shirley and Dolly Collins. It's released on Harvest Records, which is a label I collect. Apologies there, a little crude edit. I needed some water. Anyway, I haven't got this record. It's rare and expensive, but I inquired as to how much, A, is it for sale? Secondly, how much do you want for it? He let me have it for an unbelievably low price. I mean, I was like, really? I mean, the Matt, you know, he clearly knows what he's talking about. But it was right place at the right time. It really was. It had just come into the shop, and he let me have it for an unbelievably good deal. It's what I would call a VG copy. The sleeve's a bit grubby, but I've got a way of getting rid of all that. With a bit of alcohol and a cotton bud, that can all go. So this is a first pressing. Oh, look at the state of that inner. That is definitely getting replaced. It's been fairly well played. There's a few hairlines, but nothing too major, and I was delighted to have it. I've got their first album. Musically, I mean, it's very kind of old English folk. It's not even really acid folk like certain other artists of the time. It's quite traditional, but it's very interesting, and it's extremely rare. So yeah, absolutely delighted to have been given this for such an amazing price. So yeah, beautiful, brilliant. And as I picked it up, behind it sat this. Very apt, Keith Christmas. This is called Favour of the Wings. This one I also don't own. I've got here the album that came after this. It's called Pygmy on BC Records. This too was on BC Records, and he actually had this playing in the shop when I went in, and I quite liked it but didn't know what it was, and it was this. So this is more in the acid folk vein. There are a few marks on this record, but it doesn't seem too heavily played. You can see that that's on the B and C label. Again, he let me have it for a ridiculously low price. This is pretty, I mean, it's not mega expensive, not by the Discogs statistics, but it is hard to come by. So I was absolutely delighted to get that. Again, right place at the right time. Just came into the shop, presumably with Shirley and Dolly Collins there. So that's all from that shop. As always, I highly recommend Array of Delight and the town of Arundel. It is absolutely beautiful there. It's great in the summer, it's great in the winter. So I highly recommend you go for a day out there and definitely check the shop out. There's loads of great stock in there. There's some good rarities on the wall. Everything's a decent price and he's a good guy. What more do you want? So next up, a couple of weeks later, yesterday actually at the time of filming, on the 22nd of December, we went to Chichester. We always have a pilgrimage there around Christmas time. There are two shops in Chichester. One is called Helter Skelter Records and another one just right across the road called Time Machine. I've been going to these record shops for years. I mean, Helter Skelter, I've been going there 15 or 16 years now, and I've returned every year. The prices are rock bottom, and I've never come away empty-handed. Time Machine Records over the road, I've been going there 11 years. I only know that is because the chap who owns it, who's a great guy, Harry, really lovely fellow, he told me that's how long they've been open, and I know I've been going there sort of pretty much right from the start. Once again, always great stock, he'll always do you a great deal, brilliant prices. So we'll just go on over to a little bit of footage of Chichester and the exteriors, and I'll be back again to show you what I bought. So we're here on a gloomy day in Chichester, but very festive, so shops are up there, let's go. So I've arrived down a road called the Hornet. Just been to the shop I was planning on going first, called Helter Skelter Records. Fortunately it doesn't open till 11, so I'm a little ahead of time. But over the road we have got Time Machine Records. Now this is going to be a hairy one to cross, so I'm going to go over the crossing. So here we are over the road. So Time Machine Records is just in this little arcade here. Hopefully it's all open. Oh yes it is. And in we go. So back again. The sign's out so it looks open. That's just towards the back of this antique shop. Little display in the window there. In we go. Okay, all good. Another successful trip. So first of all, let's go through the ones that I got in. We'll go through the ones in Helter Skelter Records because that's what I've got handy here. So this is the shop that I was meant to go in first, but ended up going in second. I don't know why I really had to choose that order, but that's the way it goes. But due to it being a later closure on Thursday, we went in there afterwards. So first of all, delighted to get this one. This is Bruford, feels good to me. This is an original on Polydor with an original inner. I've been after this for some time and I've paid, I mean you can probably see it there, it's £4.50 for it. And it normally goes for an awful lot more. I haven't bothered buying off Discogs because it normally would be 10, 12, maybe even 15. But for £4.50 I was delighted. I mean the disc itself looks absolutely unplayed. I've heard a few tracks of this. Bill Bruford to me is one of the greatest drummers on earth. The man is an absolute genius, and this is kind of more in the jazz rock fusion vein. Really great percussion, quite experimental in places. I heard a couple of tracks off YouTube, so yeah, I had to get it, and for that price, £4.50, wow, brilliant. Next up, we've got Steve Harley. with, and Cockney Rebel, not forgetting Cockney Rebel, with Timeless Flight. This is his 4th album, I believe. I bought a copy of this actually at a record fair in Chichester early this year, and this, I haven't even got round to playing it yet. This copy is much nicer, so I just bought it again. The other copy, which is okay, I'll probably just give away. Again, it's £5. It's a beautiful copy. The disc is lovely. It's UK press on EMI. I haven't played it yet. I've got Steve Harley's first 3 records. I have to say, sometimes I think Steve Harley is a little bit overlooked. In terms of the kind of slightly glam art rock, I always argue that Roxy Music, as good as Roxy Music are, they seem to steal the limelight of that genre. But Steve Harley's and Cockney Rebels albums are absolutely tremendous, but they don't seem to get the accolade that Roxy Music do. So I highly recommend checking some of those out. Okay, next up, a rare 12-inch single. I don't do singles that much, but this one I have actually been after because all the tracks on it are not on any albums. It's The Damned, Thanks for the Night. Originally I was after the 7-inch version of this one. I didn't realise there was a 12-inch, but there it was. So I thought, I've got to have it. I think there's probably a track on it that isn't on the 7-inch. So we've got Thanks for the Night. On the other side we've got a track called Nasty. I'm very familiar with Nasty. That was actually my first exposure to The Damned. It's featured on an episode of The Young Ones. I don't know how many of you know The Young Ones. Absolutely seminal and classic comedy series. They only did 2 series, but they used to have a musical act each week on there, and The Damned played on the episode called Nasty, the episode of the same name. And they were the only artists, the only musical act on The Young Ones to actually do an exclusive tune. There are other acts like Motorhead who did Ace of Spades, and 9 Below Zero, Madness appeared twice, but they all did tracks that they'd already recorded and released. But Nasty was written for that Young Ones episode, so I'm actually glad to have it on vinyl at long last. One of the great things about Helter Skelter Records is it's always got a great new wave and post-punk and punk selection. Every time I go in there, I always come away with a complete blind buy. And to me, a blind buy means not only something I haven't heard, it's something I've not heard of that just looks interesting. Because they're so cheap, I'm always willing to take the risk. Now, this particular one, I've never seen it. Big Ocean's Interview, it stuck right out. Only £4, you can probably see the price there. I like the colour scheme, and it was in the post-punk section. I've never ever heard them. A lot of the times these releases that I get in that section, they tend to be sort of proper independent labels that you've never heard of, but this one's actually on Virgin. I'm kind of surprised I haven't heard of it. I mean, have you? Put it in the comments if you know this. I mean, I haven't played it, I only bought it yesterday. I know absolutely nothing about it. I looked it up on Discogs and it was categorised as, I think, indie pop rock, and I'm like, well, that's fair enough, but it doesn't really sort of say too much. But there we go, original on Virgin, beautiful copy. Take a punt, £4. Can't even get a beer for £4 in the UK now, so why not? Next up, we got a lovely copy of Heaven Up Here, Echo and the Bunnymen. I've already got this one, but the disc itself in this was, might as well be, yeah, I probably would call it mint. It looks unplayed, so I thought I may as well get it at such a good price. This is a UK original with textured sleeve. It's got the original inner, and if you look, it's got these lovely milk bottle labels there. This is a great, I do like Echo and the Bunnymen. It's probably their darkest album, this one. It's quite downbeat, it's their second record. They started to lighten things up and go slightly more commercial, I think, thereafter. It's not as good as, in my view, Ocean Rain, which is a masterpiece. That's definitely my favourite by Echo and the Bunnymen. Can't get my words out. But this one, Heaven Up Here, is a great release, so glad to pick up another one. Right, here we go. This came off the wall, only £10. It's Gong with Camembert Electrique. I like Gong. and for whatever reason I've never owned a copy of this record. I really don't know why, and I actually have been after a copy for the last couple of years, but I didn't want to just buy it online. I thought I'd wait for one to turn up, and here it is. Cover, a little bit of an issue there, but the record's okay. I know this was issued several times in the UK. I'm not sure if this is an absolute first pressing or not. It's an early pressing on Virgin, but I know the catalogue numbers changed an awful lot, so it's good enough for me. It's certainly sort of pre-1974. It's got the black and white Virgin label, so that's all good. Gone, if you haven't heard them before, are a kind of humorous, kind of experimental, jazzy prog band. Most of the members originated from France, but they had other members join throughout the years, Steve Hillage being one of them. It was great when he was in it. He had this real sort of space guitar. But this is I believe their second record, or is it their third? They did the film soundtrack, didn't they, as well? I don't know. You tell me. I should do my homework before I do these videos. There we go, Camembert Electric. Now this one. This was a good find, because this has really gone up in price, but I got it for £5 from Helter Skelter. This is why I keep going back there, they're so cheap. This is Prefab Sprout, Steve McQueen. Now, I don't know much about this record. I heard one or two tracks and quite liked what I heard, but from what I gather, this is quite a well-renowned album of the time. I know later on they had a huge hit with Hot Dog, Jumping Frog, which I can't say I'm that enamoured with, but I thought I'd give this one a try. And I have noticed that recently this is more of a £15 record, but it was just sitting there for £5, so I thought I'd pick it up. So I was delighted with that. Again, the vinyl itself may as well be unplayed. It is absolutely flawless condition. And finally, another one off the wall, a great prog rock record. It's £15 this one. This is Druid, Towards the Sun. Now, again, I haven't played this one. I've heard their second record, but the copy I've got isn't very good. I need to replace it. It's very crackly, but it sounds, the music sounds good. But as I understand, Druid, I think, were the winners of a competition, possibly set by Enemy or Melody Maker. It was like a sort of prog rock talent contest of young bands, and the prize was that they got to record 2 albums. So they were the winners. From what I read, they're probably quite influenced by Yes and Genesis. So yeah, nice one to have. Again, beautiful copy, nice texture sleeve. Very, very good indeed. So, great haul from Helter Skelter. And to finish, we have got what I got from Time Machine Records. Now, this was a great deal and needs no introduction. It's Pink Floyd Medal. I'm a massive Pink Floyd fan. I love them, and I do have a copy of this, but it's never been great. It's well worn. Here we have very early pressing, not an absolute first edition of this, but very, very early all the same. For those of you in the know, it's on Harvest, and it's got gramophone text on the rim. I don't know if you can see that, but that does mean it's kind of pre-1974. So it is a very, very early pressing, and it is in absolutely beautiful condition. As soon as I pulled the disc out and looked at it, I had to have it. The sleeve as well. The sleeve normally suffers from sort of ring wear and things like that, but this is a superb example. So I had to have it, and I got a lovely deal on that. So I'm very pleased to get a good upgrade, hopefully final upgrade of that one. Here we have Peter Hamill, who, I want to say Peter Hamill from Van der Graaf Generator. He was in Van der Graaf Generator, however his solo career I think eclipsed Van der Graaf for the amount of albums he's released. This is called Sitting Targets. I haven't played this one yet. I've never owned it before. I've got, I think, all of his solo albums up to this one. I think the one before that was Black Box, and then I kind of haven't got any more. So this one follows. I don't know what it's like. I like all of his albums. Yeah, there's not one that I sort of dislike, so I'm bound to like this. This is an original UK on Virgin. The disc itself, I've checked it again, possibly unplayed. It is absolutely flawless. So just get that out of the plastic so you can see it. A lovely deal was had. And last but by no means least, this album needs no introduction at all. Love Forever Changes. It's a great one. It's a great one. I do own one. I've got an original US, but it's not great. And this is an early 70s UK pressing on Electra, which you don't see very much. I don't seem to see this album or any kind of vintage pressing of this album at all around. But it was very, very cheap, and I thought, and in very nice condition. So I thought I'd give it a go. This record, as you're probably aware, receives a lot of accolades. Now I do like it. I do like it, but I don't think I've given the attention it deserves. I haven't played. It's not one that I've ever played to death, so I'm hoping sort of a better copy will kind of reignite any kind of interest and make me check this one out again, because I think it deserves more playback, and I need to get more Love records. I haven't really got that many at all. I've got the two on Harvest and this, but they've done plenty on Electra that I know are very sort of highly regarded. So no, I was very, very pleased to pick that up. Nice condition, very good indeed. So to round up, Helter Skelter and Time Machine Records they're absolutely great shops. They are two of my absolute favourites, and as I say, I've been going there for many years. Helter Skelter is full of bargains, absolutely full of bargains. You'll always sort of pick something up decent. Time Machine, I would say there is more on the collectible side there. There are things on the wall. You may get some rare prog rock. The chap there, Harry, he's so lovely. He always gives me a good deal. Always stop and have a good chat with him, and he's always very, very grateful for my custom. So once again, like Arundel, go and check these shops out, and check Chichester out. Chichester is a lovely place. Again, it's one of these places that just keeps drawing you back. There's lovely pubs there, there's nice walks, nice parks. It is just a nice place to be. So, that's all from me. I will be back with more videos. Please don't forget to subscribe. I should say, I've hit 100 subscribers. I've actually exceeded 100 subscribers, which I am really, really delighted about. So if you've subscribed, thank you very much. Anyone who's viewed the videos, thank you very much, but don't forget to keep subscribing. Let's get those figures up, because everything is going very, very well. So if you're watching this before Christmas, have a lovely Christmas, whatever it is you're doing or whatever it is you're celebrating. Have a wonderful time off on holiday. If you're watching this after Christmas, well, I hope you had a good one. And there will be another one before New Year. Hopefully there will be one more video I've got in store, and lots more in 2023. So as usual, thank you very much for watching, and take care. See you later.